Good evening or good morning, good whatever time it is you are listening to this. Today's video is going to be for February 20th, 2025, and I'm going to be going over the following the data sets for the day. Not going to go over the earnings because there's no special earnings. Going to go over the SPY, and also going to just slightly touch on Palantir, since I had a pretty massive sell off towards the end of the day. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started into the data sets. So we have the weekly jobless claims. Again, I'm really not expecting anything crazy out of that data set. It's probably going to fall very close to within the forecast, but uh, we have seen those data sets or the jobless claims in general give us some either major hot numbers or some major cold numbers, so that can go either way. It just kind of depends on what the BLS is really wanting to push for a narrative right now. With the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, that can move the market a little bit, but I'm really not expecting it to do too much because we had the manufacturing index also on Tuesday, and it didn't do a whole lot for the market. Now we have the 30-year tips auction at 1 p.m., but not really expecting anything too much out of that. We had the yields on the 30-year today actually come in lower, which that's a little surprising to me. But the treasury market might be using this month or two, or the few weeks span to April 2nd as a time to reduce the yields a little. We'll see how that moves forward. But the tips auction is basically a hedge to a standard bond, so it's really nothing super significant. We also have uh, Chair Barr or the Vice Chair Barr speaking. I don't really track his speeches too much, but I know they can move the market a little bit, but that's already going to be towards the end of the day, so if he says anything major, then it will be hitting the market on Friday rather than on Thursday. Again, none of the really important data is coming out uh, Thursday. It's all coming out Friday, so I'm really not expecting anything to happen with these data sets. Now, like I mentioned, we're not going to go over earnings, but I did see that Carvana was down last I checked, I believe like 10%. So I'm sure they didn't do too well in their earnings, or they were bought up beforehand before the earnings, and so the earnings didn't give a blowout EPS or something and caused the sell-off. Something happened. It's majorly red right now, and I'm not going to touch it for a while. Just a quick reminder before we get into the technical analysis. If you've been finding value in my insights, consider joining my Patreon. For just $12.99 a month, you'll get access to my trades, courses, and powerful tools to help you grow as a trader. I'd love to have you be a part of our team and community. And it's less than 43 cents a day. So if you'd like to join, click in the link in the description. Thanks. So going over the daily chart, we see that the 5 mile is currently at 609.44, which the market closed at 612.93. That gives us roughly 611.19-ish, give or take, for where the estimated 5 mile is going to be opening tomorrow. And if you check the overnight, we're currently at 611.50. So if they want to open the market up towards the 5 mile and do a 5 mile test on the day, they absolutely can. We have the 10 mile opening are currently at 606.87. Really not anticipating it to move up or down too much. We're still quite a ways from the 10 mile, so unless we get a major sell-off tomorrow or Friday, I'm not expecting to really be testing that level just yet. We have the 20 mile at 605.25. Now, I do look at that target compared to the 10 mile because the 20 mile is just far more significant. So with it being so close to the 10 it's very likely any sort of 10 test is going to lead into a 20 test just because it's, a dollar below it. Uh, the daily ADL, even though we had a kind of a wonky day, it's still moving up. I mean, I shouldn't say wonky day. We technically closed at all-time highs. It was technically a bullish day, but we had the weird PLTR sell-off towards the end of the day when the CEO posted, or there was a posting or article about the CEO uh, wanting to sell $1.2 billion worth of stock. Now, um, I read over the article and I don't know entirely what's true or not, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but some of it I think was FUD because the filing was already reported last year in 2024, and it's over a 1 year span, so he has the full year to sell that, the 1.2 billion worth of shares, and with the company basically pumping in billions of dollars currently right now. Uh, yeah, that's a lot of money. But it's not enough to I don't know. I feel like this sell-off is going to get bought up a little bit, but we will see. Let's just take it one day at a time. But finishing going over the daily levels, we have the upper Bollinger at 613.45 currently, or six. My levels that I wrote down before the overnight started was 613.15. Currently it says it's 613.45, so that's moving up. And it's going to move up. It's very likely going to move up closer to the 614 area on the day. Uh, so the high of the day tomorrow, I'm looking at basically whether we pull up to the upper Bollinger or not. Our range tomorrow is basically, are we going to move up to the upper Bollinger and actually do the upper Bollinger move, or are we going to pull back down and redo the 5 mod test for liquidity? If we do the 5 mod test, usually we go $1 to $2 above and below the level. So with the level expected to be around 611.19, give or take, at open, it's very likely we'll see, around that 609.20 for a low, and then around the 613.20 for a high, give or take. That's if they just focus on the 5 ma. Now, if they do push up into the upper Bollinger, with the upper Bollinger very likely going to be opening in the 614 range, that kind of opens up the room upward. So if the dealers do want to take that move upward, then we're going to see very likely the 615.24-ish range to 615 to 616 range. So just be prepared for that. And the market was very likely going to push into the upper Bollinger today. I did mention that end of day sell off with Palantir, but the market was absolutely priming to push into that 614 area today. And just going over some of the structure here. Let's go over to the 1 hour chart and turn off this. Okay, so on the day, we were building this super nice cup, and this is what I mentioned in the video last night, is that we have this cup right here, we're going to pull down and start forming a handle, and we started doing that. Actually going over the drawings, and this channel is not supposed to be there anymore. I only want the consolidation channel showing. And we are going to get the drawing tool. Sorry, just 1 second, everybody. Okay, all right. So we had the cup and handle forming. We had the cup right there. That was Tuesday's session. Then we have today's session forming the handle to pull upward, which sets a nested cup at that point. So it's basically a cup within a cup. And we started to pull down, and now we're forming another handle potentially to pull back upward. the structure's really strong. It's also a double bottom. So we have one of the bottoms right there, second bottom right there. That's quite a lot of liquidity. So this can absolutely still push up into the upper Bollinger. Like, I mean, we still had a really strong close, even though it wasn't the close I was looking for. Um, it just further extends how much we could push upward. But technically, this is a very nice bull structure right here. We have, like I said, we have the double bottom. We have we have, the cups forming. We have this cup right here, and potentially a handle forming. Um, but for bear structure now, let's go over. It's kind of hard to say because the only really strong bear structure we have right now is right here, which is essentially going to be like the inverse cup. Um, we just don't have a whole lot forming here. What I'd like to see is I would want to see something like a head and shoulders forming. So that being the shoulder, new higher high for our head, and then come back down, test the shoulder, and then pull down and form, a massive uh, inverse cup, right? And then off of that large inverse cup, we can form a potential larger head and shoulders if we're going to, pull down further. So, um, that's kind of what I'm looking at for now. Basically, tomorrow's going to be if we move up to the upper Bollinger again, or if we need more liquidity to head back down to the 5 mall and retest that area. If we head back down to the 5 mall, very likely we are going to head back up to the upper Bollinger, so I will be buying that back up because just checking the liquidity, I mean, heading back to the 5 mall would take us, yeah, right, we'd still basically be right above this consolidation channel. So that's still extremely bullish for a move. I mean, that'd be pulling us out of our old support area, out of our old support channel, basically with the consolidation, pushing us further up this buying channel, and essentially we have a huge area to leg upward if the market wants us to. But essentially, that's what I'm looking forward to on the day today. Uh, I'm not looking forward to the data sets really too much, but again, with days that don't have a lot of data, small data can make the day move. So just be aware of that, but we're still seeing a ton of bullishness. We just have to be aware that this Palantir sell-off can turn into something a lot larger than what it is. And we also have OPEX on Friday, so if they want to destroy a whole ton of calls right now, they have the ability to do that pretty easily. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. So I hope everyone has a great night and a great day and trade safe. And I will talk to you in the next video.